matches and teams so far in the tournaments. So of course the Club World Cup is currently taking place as you're watching this and as I'm recording this. And yeah, I'm gonna do some of these as we sort of go throughout the tournament, where these aren't necessarily going to be like game by game reviews, but I'm just sort of gonna give general points from like each match day. So now at least every single team has played at least one game. I feel like I'll do a video now to sort of talk through what I've learned and some of my key takeaways from the first round of fixtures. Now, I think the first thing I should say is sort of my general points on the Club World Cup and the whole experience so far. Personally, for me, I've actually been kind of pleasantly surprised by it. Like, I found myself watching quite a lot of these games, to be honest, and I've actually enjoyed it. I really have. I know a lot of people sort of critiqued it when it was being proposed, and I was one of them. I couldn't really give a damn when it was like announced. But I will say I'm actually enjoying it right now. It is really fun to see different teams play, and it's really fun to see different styles of play. You know, see the South American style, see the Asian style, etc. Instead of seeing the same old style which we're used to seeing in European and Premier League football. So I'm enjoying the tournament, and I think I'm also fairly surprised about how seriously every team is taking this. Literally every single team has taken this very, very seriously, this tournament. Pretty much every team has played their best possible lineups. So, you know, anyone's saying, you know, it's basically just a pre-season feel. I mean, sometimes because of like the atmosphere and stuff, it is a little bit of a pre-season, but the actual games are very competitive and definitely not like a pre-season vibe. Teams are putting in 110% to win their games, so I'm enjoying it so far. I don't know about you guys, but yeah, I'm having a good time watching the Club World Cup right now, and I should also caveat this, there is literally a game going on right now between Atletico Madrid and Seattle. There's a lot of games though, and particularly living in the UK, some of the times of the games are just really late, so I have watched quite a few games, but not every game. But anyways, so one of the main things I wanted to sort of talk about from match day one was, I guess, going continent by continent, and particularly the one continent of teams that have impressed me so far in the tournaments is South American. The CONMEBOL teams, the South American sides, have really, really impressed me personally. I mean, some of the results they've all been getting have been very impressive, and they've really made a strong start to the tournaments. Palmeiras drew to Porto, but I really think we're the better side, and unfortunate not to win that game. And then beat Al Ahly. Botafogo beat the Seattle Sounders. Boca Juniors, a bit of a surprise, went 2-0 up versus Benfica. Granted, they did throw it away, but very good to get a point versus Benfica. Flamengo started off with a win as well. River Plate started off with a win as well versus the Urawa Red Diamonds. Fluminense got a draw against Borussia Dortmund, which is a really good result actually. So literally every single team from South America haven't lost a game in their first match day, so they have made really, really strong starts, and in every game I feel they've been very competitive, and I also really do like seeing, I mentioned, the styles of each sort of team. There is a clear, distinct South American way of playing which a lot of these teams have adopted, which I've noticed, which is an extremely aggressive aggressive style. It's very high press, high tempo. They go 110% into challenges. I mean, just watch the Boca Juniors game, right? There was 3 red cards in that game versus Benfica. And, it's not always just pass. When they get the ball, they're very direct. They like to dribble a lot. They like to take shots from range. It's very refreshing, I must say, to see. I really do like it. And yeah, I think the South American sides so far have shown that they really aren't that far away from the European teams. They really are not. The gap between the South American sides and the European teams is probably a lot smaller than people maybe thought going into this tournament. Now granted, I want to see how these teams do against like the best of the European teams. It's like, how are they going to do when they come up against a PSG or a Bayern Munich? Because none of those guys have played sort of a really high caliber European sides. So we'll find that out as the tournament progresses. But in terms of like that sort of middle pack of European teams, like a Borussia Dortmund, like a Benfica, these guys are more than capable of beating them, more than capable of drawing against them, and have shown they can go toe to toe with sort of those like tier 2, tier 3 European sides. You have like the elite sides, the tier 1s, which are like Bayern and PSG and Real Madrid and all of that. Then you have like the tier 2, 3 guys who are not sort of on that elite level but are still good teams like Dortmund and Benfica and Porto. And these South American sides have shown that they're probably about that level and they can compete with those guys. So I've been really impressed with them so far. And I think outside of European teams, the South American teams have probably done the best so far in the tournaments. A side note as well, speaking of that, tier 2, tier 3 European sides, they have really disappointed so far. I mean, FC Porto, absolute disaster right now. Drew against Palmeiras and then lost into Miami. And it looks like they might not even get out of their group, which is absolutely shocking, absolutely abysmal from Porto, who have had a really bad season. Benfica obviously drawing to Boca, Dortmund drawing to Fluminense. It's not been amazing, and Real Madrid drawing to Al Hilal. It's not been an amazing start for the European sides, to be honest, but yeah, it's only match day 1. We'll see what happens in the rest of the tournament. But if we talk about some of the other sort of continents, I think the African sides have sort of done what was expected. I feel like the African teams, Al Ali, Esperance and Wydad, yeah, they've sort of been at the level expected where, they're not able to compete with the European and the South American sides, but they're not like a million miles off and they can still be competitive in those games, and we've seen that so far, right? Like, Esperance, yeah, they lost to Flamengo, but they didn't get like absolutely battered. Same thing with Al Ali, I think, competitive against Palmeiras and very unfortunate not to beat Inter Miami. And actually, Wydad I was very impressed with against Manchester City. I thought they put up a real good fight and were unfortunate not to score a goal in that game, but they defended really well. So I feel like the African teams in general, it's sort of what I at least expected, where they've been competitive, they've done pretty well in most of their games, but you can see there is a bit of a quality gap, a bit of a quality difference between them and the other sides so far in this tournament. And I would say generally that's probably the same thing for the CONCACAF teams, the North American sides as well. It's sort of what I've expected so far, where you can see there's a bit of a gap between them and the European and South American sides, but there's not a lot, but there is a bit of a quality gap there, right? Seattle's Saunders obviously lost to Botafogo, and I'm currently losing to Atletico Madrid right now. We'll see what happens there. But then AFC lost to Chelsea, and Pachuca lost to Salzburg as well. Inter Miami in their first game drew to Al Ahly. The only team who actually got a pretty good result in their first match day from CONCACAF was Monterrey, who did very well to draw against Inter. And then Inter Miami did get a win against Porto, which is a very, very good result and a very big result for them. But yeah, what I'd say with overall with the CONCACAF team so far, the North American sides is, I think you can see there's a gap, but it's not that big. It's minuscule. It's minuscule. Like, for example, Inter Miami are capable of beating a Porto, as we've seen, right? And Seattle are capable of giving Botafogo a game. They're capable of probably giving Atletico a game. I don't think they're going to get smacked in this game, right? And LAFC, they gave Chelsea a couple problems, but in the end, the quality just wasn't there. So yeah, I think the North American teams sort of, again, like the African sides, have done what I expected really, where they put up a fight in their games, but they've sort of lacked a bit of quality. But shout out to Inter Miami and Messi, because Messi, brilliant free kick against Porto and a great comeback win for them. They look like they might be able to make out that group, which will be a pretty good achievement for them, to be fair. So yeah, we'll see what happens there. Now moving on to Asian teams, I should also touch on, I'm not even going to speak about Oceania, Auckland City. I mean, just exactly what we expected, right? Losing 10-0 versus Bayern Munich, but I think Asia, like as a whole, has probably been the most disappointing continent so far at this tournament in terms of their teams, except one, which we will get onto. But I mean, you've seen a clear gap in quality between them. Like the Urawa Red Diamonds were comfortably outplayed by River Plate. They did show some good spells in that game, and shout out to their fans as well. Those Japanese fans were fantastic, but yeah, they were in the end fairly comfortably dispatched off by River Plate. And then Ulsan as well lost to Mamelodi Sundowns, which was on paper is going to be their easiest game of the group, and they lost it as well. So yeah, that wasn't good. And then Al Ain got absolutely smacked 5-0 versus Juventus. So the Asian teams really haven't had a good time so far at this tournament, and it does seem there's a bit of a gulf in class between them and the rest. And it's a little bit more than like the African sides and the European teams, and it's a lot more than like the North American sides and the South American, North American teams. So yeah, the Asian sides haven't got off to a great start, but there is one Asian side which has done well, which is what I do want to talk about, which is Al Hilal, who managed to draw against Real Madrid, and maybe, just maybe we were, well, I say we, maybe I was wrong about Saudi, and a lot of us, and maybe those people who said, oh, Saudi Arabia is better than Liga, and Saudi Arabian League is a good league, we all thought were sort of just trying to gaslight us, but maybe they were actually telling the truth, because Al Hilal honestly outplayed Real Madrid, particularly in the first half. Like, look at that, they really should have been up in that first half. And overall, I think Al Hilal were very good in this game, very, very good. And yeah, they're flying the flag high for the Saudi teams, and to draw against Real Madrid, that is a really good result. Granted, I'll talk about Real Madrid in a second, but Real Madrid weren't pretty good, but at the end of the day, Al Hilal were nice. And I mean, you look at their team, right? You saw players like Cancelo did very well, Ruben Neves, Bono. Now these players, they don't just lose their quality overnight, and they showed that they still have it. So yeah, a really good start for Al Hilal, and let's see how far they can go in this tournament. But I mean, if they can make a deep run, then yeah, maybe people are right about the Saudi League, and maybe the Saudi League is a bit better than we actually all thought. Simone Inzaghi. I mean, what an amazing job this guy's already come in. 1 week of a job and he's got them drawing against Real Madrid. Is pretty insane. And he even did it in a back four, which is crazy. But yeah. Now I do want to talk about Real Madrid, and I also want to talk about some other new managers and also like new signings, and see sort of what we've learned, because this was of course Xabi Alonso's first game in charge at Real Madrid, and I think you sort of saw, he is very new to the job, because this was very much a sort of Carlo Ancelotti performance from Real Madrid. I think there were little pieces which you could see Alonso forming, like their pressing was I think a lot better in this game, but overall the tactics were still very similar to Carlo Ancelotti, which is to be expected of course. Dean Howson and Trent both made debuts as well, and I thought both were actually pretty decent. Again, considering they had only just come in, they probably only had like 1 or 2 training sessions with their teammates. I think they did a pretty decent job. Trent was sort of a typical Trent performance, defensively a little bit dodgy, but on the ball fantastic, and created a couple decent chances for Madrid. But not a good start for Madrid. We'll see if they grow into the tournament now they do under Xabi Alonso. But yeah, not a great start for him. Also, Inter Milan's new manager, not a great start for him, drawing versus Monterrey 1-1 in their game. And similarly, I mean, it was pretty much copy and paste from Simone Inzaghi from Chivu. Exact same 3-5-2 formation used, and pretty much played the exact same way as under Inzaghi. Again, it's to be expected, considering he's only just come through the doors, probably only had a couple training sessions with the team. I am intrigued though if he's going to switch it to a back 3 or a back 4 as time progresses. But yeah, not a good start, dropping points versus Monterrey, but shout out Sergio Ramos, by the way, still scoring goals, aged like 39, coming up clutch, defensive masterclass yet again. I mean, just does not age. And also shout out to Thiago Silva, who similarly at the back for Fluminense, I think around the same age, like 39, got a clean sheet versus Borussia Dortmund. Yeah, was absolutely superb. I also want to talk about some of the new signings as well, and my sort of first impressions with them, such as Liam Delap for Chelsea, who I thought was pretty good actually. Came off the bench in this game and got an assist, I think, actually, for the goal, and his overall play was pretty promising. He looked really good, and I'm really excited to see more of Liam Delap. But yeah, he looked pretty good, a pretty solid start for his Chelsea career. Also at Manchester City, Tijani Linders and Ray Shirky were chucked into the firing line, and Tijani Linders in particular I thought was very impressive in this game. Ray Shirky, I mean, he was okay, but yeah, I'm not expecting too much right now. But Tijani Linders, oh boy, I think this guy's going to be an absolutely fantastic signing. Interestingly, he was deployed as like a lone DM in this game. I feel like he's a bit more of an 8, but he was used as a lone DM as in this game, and used sort of to control the game, and he did it really well. And then when Rodri came on, those two in the midfield looked really good together. So yeah, I'm excited to see how those guys do together. But yeah, I feel like that's pretty much it. I guess I'll wrap up with sort of like brief review of what I think of each team and predictions for the rest of the games. So I mean, this group is pretty crazy. I've been really impressed with Palmeiras so far. Esteval, this is the first time I've watched him, to be honest, very raw. I've seen some really good stuff from him when he gets the ball, really good dribbler. He likes to just run at opponents, but I've seen him lose the ball a lot, sort of mistime the pass, misplace it, etc. But I expect from an 18-year-old really into Miami. I Messi has just been absolutely fantastic. As always, a beautiful free kick. Porto have been absolutely abysmal, but I have really liked Rodrigo Mora. The youngster's been really good, I thought. Now, Ali, I think, to be honest, have been really hard done by here, that they've only got 1 point so far. I feel like they definitely deserve it more than that. But in terms of who goes out this group now, I reckon Palmeiras probably beat Inter Miami. I reckon Porto do beat out Ali. The goal difference, I reckon, will swing into Porto's favour, so I do still think Porto will get out the group. PSG, yeah, I forgot to mention this, completely annihilated Atletico Madrid 4-0. I mean, PSG are the real deal. PSG are the team to beat, in my opinion. They are the favourites for this competition. I mean, it's pretty crazy, right? They were missing Ousmane Dembele, and a lot of their players had played in the Nations League final of a grueling season. Yeah, it was just business as usual. Dispatch of Atletico Madrid like it was nothing. Yeah, PSG looking real good. Botafogo, I mean, a little bit nervy versus Seattle, but we'll see how they do. Atletico Madrid absolutely awful versus PSG, but it looks like they're sort of clawing it back versus Seattle. Seattle overall I thought were actually pretty decent versus Botafogo. I still do think Atletico will get out of this group though. Bayern Munich, I mean, it's really hard to judge them when they're playing against plumbers, so I mean, just see what happens against Boca. Benfica and Boca, to be honest, I thought were really even when they played. So yeah, I think it will come down to sort of who can try and get something against Bayern. Flamengo were very good against Esperance. I think they're going to give us a real game in the next games. I'm intrigued to see how we do there. LAFC, you know what, actually posed us a couple problems I thought were pretty decent. I think they can definitely beat Esperance and maybe give Flamengo a game, and yeah, Esperance weren't too great. River Plate, I thought were overall pretty good against Urawa. Obviously not the greatest of opposition, but I thought they were pretty good. Franco Mastoranto as well, he looked really good. I was impressed with him. Monterrey did very well to get a point against Inter, and Urawa Red Diamonds, yeah, not amazing. Mamelodi Sundowns, fantastic start to their campaign with a win. Yeah, we'll see how we do against Dortmund. Dortmund I thought were really poor against Fluminense. Joe Bellingham, the new signing, made his debut, but didn't really have too much of an impact. Yeah, I actually thought Fluminense were kind of unlucky not to win that game. So this group is really up for grabs in my opinion. Juve, fantastic against Al Ain. I think it's involved dispatch of Wydad, but it will come down to that game against Manchester City. Salzburg actually beat Pachuca, which is a pretty good result to be fair, and puts them in a good position for them against Al Hilal. Is going to be a really intriguing battle. And yeah, Real Madrid, they need to beat Pachuca, otherwise they're in for some trouble. But anyways, yeah, that was my thoughts on the Club World Cup so far. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you guys have enjoyed this video, please do leave a like, consider subscribing, and I will see you. Have a